Hey everybody, how's it going? So, I've got a lot of YouTube comments saying, are you ready, Lewis? There's going to be a CHAZ in New York City now. Are you ready for the CHAZ? And one of the things that you notice about the news, if you watch enough of it or you read enough of it, is you get tired of being gaslit. It's annoying to read an article talking about how the end of days is coming in a particular neighborhood, and then you ride your bike through that neighborhood and you see like a nice little old lady with her walker doing her grocery shopping, not worried at all. And then you read another article about how everything's mostly peaceful. It's mostly peaceful. It's mostly peaceful. And all the stores have been destroyed. Their windows are boarded up. There's glass all over the sidewalk. People fighting in the street. It's really annoying being gaslit by people that have a particular narrative. So I figured I would just record an alternate path home than the path that I usually take home. And you all can see for yourself what the city looks like. You can see what the downtown area near City Hall looks like because I'm going to go there. And you tell me what you think of New York on this evening. Because I'm kind of curious for myself. Like, I've been avoiding that. I try to take a route home that bypasses any form of crazy shit that could be happening, simply because I want to just get home, listen to my Alice in Chains, sit in my rocking chair, read my Bloomberg, and go to sleep. But I figure, let's see what it looks like. We're going to see what it looks like, and just how crazy it is. If it is actually crazy at all. A car has parked approximately 3 inches behind my bicycle. I don't see what the purpose of that is. You want to know something? I have yet to actually make a turn on a street by just like stopping and then using a turn signal, like either on the back of the bike or or just with my arms. What I usually do is I go to the side of the road and then I wait for the light to turn and then I cross, because I have no faith that the car behind me is going to stop. I know it probably sounds like I'm being a pussy, but like I've rode my bike around New York for enough time to realize that even if I have a brake light and even if I do turn signal, I have zero trust whatsoever. None. That's actually going to work. I'm getting a phone call, so I'm probably going to have to mute this. Hello. Anyway. But yeah. That's strange. There's a green and a red at the same time. But yeah, like I go to the side of the road where there's no car, and then I'll make a turn, but I don't stop in the road and wait for the ability to make a turn. I have no trust that the car behind me is not just going to immediately crash into me and end me as a human being. Alright. So this is a park area. There's a bunch of college classes and dorms in this area, mostly NYU. Lots of NYU here. You can tell we're in a higher educated area because to my right there are 4 people and none of them are wearing their mask by their chin. So typically if you have a group of like 3 or more people, at the very least, like it's just I forget if this is Moore's law or Newton's law, but if you have a group of 3 or more people, at least one of them will be wearing the mask around their chin. In any city, it's virtually always correct. But I guess if you're getting your $60,000 a year education, you can likely afford the brain cells. All right. It's like, wear it or don't wear it, but like, what the fuck is the point of going outside with it around your chin? I don't understand it. Especially if you're in a group of people. Like, I'd understand if you had it on your chin, but then when you go inside someplace, you take it off. But if you're in a group of like 4 or 5 people, then I don't understand it. Maybe they breathe through their chins. It's always possible. Like, I used to actually wear this thing even if I was riding my bike outside. I'm not kidding. There were people that used to mention in my comments, "What are you doing outside, Lewis? Don't you understand that you could be spreading particulate? If you're outside, you're spreading particulate. So see that guy across the street that's like 24 feet away? I'm spreading particulate to him by standing over here. When I was wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, when I am wearing a mask, I'm spreading particulate to him. This is how insane the world has gotten. That like while I'm going 30 miles an hour and wearing a mask, I'm still poisoning people. But like after I went outside and I saw that there are, groups of like 1,000 or 3,000 or 5,000 people in the street bashing shit in, and a lot of the people are not actually wearing a mask, or they're screaming at the top of their lungs with the mask at their chin, I said, you know what? Maybe I'll give myself the luxury of, while I'm on my bike and the nearest person is 24 feet away from me and I'm going 30 miles an hour, I won't. I will allow myself to breathe in some fresh air. But like indoors, or when I'm with groups of people or employees or customers, I'll keep it on. All right. This area is kind of like, it's similar to the East Village where my old store was. You have a lot of, of bars, little restaurants. Even with a lot of stuff reopening, you can tell that it's really, really dull compared to what it used to be. It's really dull compared to what it used to be. There's not a lot here. There's not a lot. I mean, there's people outside, but this is this is not even a Brookfield, Wisconsin level of people outside, much less a New York City level of people outside. It's really interesting with the mask thing, because like I've been getting it from both ends, viciously. Like in the beginning, it was, "Why are you open? Didn't Cuomo tell you to close? Didn't Cuomo tell you to close? Why are you open? You're killing people." Blah blah blah. Ignoring the fact that everyone was wearing masks, that we were cleaning things, that customers had to be 9 feet away from me, and so on and so forth. A lot of people were like saying, "Yeah, I mean, it's clear that all you care about is money." Yes, because if it was you, I'm confident every single person, every single morally sanctimonious pile of horse crap individual that was leaving those comments, if it's their $20,000 to $25,000 a week that they need to pay out of pocket, I'm sure they would do it. I'm confident that not only do all of them have that $25,000 a week to pay out of pocket, of course, you just got that in your other pants, but that they'd actually do it if asked. Like, I'm confident that probably 1% of the people saying that have that amount of money, and then 0.1% of that 1% would actually do it. It was just, and it just fucking astounds me. It's like, yes, we're uniquely evil. It's not the hordes of customers showing up that have anything to do with it. It's not the fact that it wasn't until a month after the shutdown that there was any even sort of rubric for how people would be compensated, if at all. Because the landlord still wanted rent. You were supposed to pay people for, I think, like up to 6 weeks of them being out, something like that. 2 weeks sick leave, 6 weeks if they decide to take a break. If you lay people off, well, you still got to pay the unemployment insurance, so you're going to be paying 66% of the salary anyway. So like best case scenario, it would have come down to like me paying $14,000 or $15,000 out of pocket a week for the duration. You know, it took a month to figure out that if there was any program put in place. The program put in place was highly corrupt and rewarded the LA Lakers, Ruth's Chris, a bunch of other publicly traded companies, and left a bunch of companies out to dry. We actually wound up getting something from it in the end, but from all of what I saw, I had every reason to believe that we were not going to get shit from that. Like, had everybody screaming about like how this is just, you know, there's absolutely no difference between, let's say, you and, you know, the Koch brothers or something. And then on the other side of it, what was really funny is you have saying, look at this idiot wearing a mask, mitigating risk. It's like just because there's a bunch of scientific studies that show that this drastically reduces the transmission. Man, I don't understand why this idiot is wearing a mask. It's not like he's in a 2,000 square foot space with 14 other people and 5 or 6 customers. Why is this moron listening to science and like wearing and mitigating his risk by spending $5 a day on these fucking masks? Doesn't he know that his chances of getting a date on Tinder are going to be vastly decreased because of what he looks like with that mask? Doesn't Lewis know that the only reason people watch his YouTube channel is for the model-like qualities in his face? It's like, Jesus Christ. I hate to use the C word, but there really is some virtue to being a centrist on this issue. Let's give people who are in a high-risk category paid time off. Let's tell people if you want to show up, show up. If you don't want to show up, you don't show up. But if nobody shows up, then there's probably not going to be a job to come back to in a few weeks. Try to make the safest work environment that we can, even if it means doing stuff a little bit slower, and go from there. And we'll deal with the petty tyranny of having to wear this stupid shit on my face for a couple of months. It's really hard to find people with nuance. That's what I've noticed. There's a lot of nuance missing from modern day discussions. You know, it's not like these are decisions any employer wants to make. Do I want to force everybody to put this stupid shit on top of their face? Do I want to weigh the permanent, complete and utter destruction of something that employs 14 people, 3 of whom have children that, you know, used to make considerably less money before they started working here, that use this job to feed their kids? Like, looking back, I'm confident that I made the right decisions on just about everything. Like, I've made a lot of bad decisions in my lifetime. I bought cryptocurrency in early 2018. There's a lot of stupid stuff that I've done. Absolutely. Tons of stupid shit. I hired Eugene the contractor. I moved at the height of the Manhattan real estate bubble. And granted, I actually got a really good deal, but I probably could have negotiated better. But still, I mean, I guess I shouldn't fault myself that much for that one. Because business was going up to the point where we would have imploded at that other store. It would have been very, very bad. But maybe not that. But yeah, the hiring Eugene, like, you know, I deserve to crucify myself a little bit for that. I deserve to feel some shame for stupid shit like that. There's a lot of stupid stuff I've done. A bunch of it. But when I look at the decisions that I made here, I really think that, like, even if hindsight were 20/20, there's little, if anything, that I actually would have done differently. I realized that any sort of government effort was not going to be coordinated in any way, shape, or form. I realized that the way the states, the cities, and the federal government handle aid, lockdowns, and so on and so forth is going to be completely uncoordinated, and with lots of bitter partisanship and how to do any of it, while all the small businesses and all the people were, you know, fucked. I was really on the money with that one. When it came to getting clarity from New York City regarding whether we could open, in terms of waiting for them, I realized that when I just getting the license for this business, not even figuring out if we could be open or whether this counted as technical support for online services or whatever, just getting my license to have the address changed on it took over 3 months. I knew I'd be done. Be 180K in the hole by then. Rip Rossman Repair. Rip Louis Rossman's finances from now until eternity. And I also remember looking at the mortality numbers for the virus amongst young people and realizing a couple of things. The first of which was they were not, when they were coming up with the mortality rates, like back in March and early April, there was one Wall Street Journal article about it was pretty interesting. You actually had to lie in order to get a test in New York City. Because in order to get a test, you had to know someone that tested positive for COVID. However, how do you know someone who tested positive if in order to get a test you need to know someone who tested positive? Chicken and the egg. You don't. It's impossible. So since the only people who are going to be getting tested are the people who are already showing up at the hospital, coughing their lungs out, the rates are going to be somewhat skewed. Then I remember on May 12th, I think this was the first day that I realized, what we did was somewhat the right thing, was when I looked it up and I saw that in the age group of 17 to 44, the store is age 20 to 40, with no pre-existing conditions, death in the city of 8 million people was, I believe, 17 people as of May 12th. It's like, yeah, maybe the approach of everybody wearing masks and buying up all the alcohol and cleaning shit all the time and keeping customers away versus listening to a YouTube comment section and spending $16,000 to $20,000 a week that I don't have until my life is ruined. Maybe the former option was the way to go. She's smiling because she's going the wrong way down a one-way street. And there's no traffic. It's a good feeling when you look at a one-way street and you know you're going the wrong way and you're like, oh shit, am I going to get hit by something? And you see there's nothing to get hit by. It's the type of thing that'll bring a smile to your face. All right. We're kind of coming up on the CHAZ, my friends. Potential new CHAZ. But yeah, the lack of nuance just fucking killed me. The number of people that can't realize that it's worth the 60 or 50 cents per employee per day after reading the science on it and the cleaning shit with alcohol. Because even if I'm wrong, even if coronavirus is a conspiracy invented by the government and the Illuminati to whatever, the amount of... Let me let this garbage truck through. The amount of money and the inconvenience that it creates is something I'm more than happy with to mitigate the risk if it actually is something terrible. And from the other, the amount of people, and this is the thing that really gets me, the amount of people that will say, oh, it's just money. You can always make more. You can always start another business, Louis. You know what I find really interesting about that statement? Is that if Republicans or people that are conservatively minded say something along the lines of, let's say, if you don't like your job, just get another one. If you're poor, just get another job. Why can't you just get another job? This is something that people find incredibly offensive. I'm not even saying that it's wrong to find it offensive. You find it offensive if you want to find it offensive. Lots of people have weird circumstances. It's not easy to change a job. My dad had always, I don't think this bike lane, why is this bike lane in the middle of the fucking street? Who plans this shit city? What the fuck? Anyway, I understand. My dad had to change careers many times, and he did because he of injuries. But I saw personally how hard it was for him. I saw how much adapting there was. I understand it. I understand why someone would take offense to that. Yet the people who have typically the exact same political viewpoints as the people who were offended by someone saying, just get a new job if you don't want to be poor, just get a new job if you don't like it, are the same people that say, well, just start a new business. Because the thing is, getting a job, you can get a job even if you have no money. You can get a job even if you don't have a license from the city. You can get a job without having to invest a lot of money and all this other crap and time and capital. Starting a business is pretty difficult. Pretty difficult. You know, it's not exactly the easiest shit in the world. All right, we're here at New CHAZ, baby. We're here at New CHAZ. What do we got? Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world. All right. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to take the GoPro off. Anyway, GoPro out of the bike setup so that I can carry it around and you can see. And then you tell me if you think this is the apocalypse or if this is just, oh God, just got owned by a light. All right, so what do we have here? That thing damn near blinded me. So we got the fist up there in City Hall. We got the word fuck written a lot of places. That says fuck 12, but it could also potentially be fuck L2. Not my favorite computer company. On the ground it says fuck and 12 over and over and over and over and over again. Fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12. And I don't know what that means. I'm just going to assume that's not a 1 and that's an L. Fuck L2 computer. I agree. I'm going to take my light off because I don't want to get it in people's eyes. It's kind of a rude thing to do. Well, let's take a look at what we have here. So, to this side, here's a bunch of people in the street on bikes. Not quite sure what they're doing there. And over here, you have a bunch of police officers. And you have some guy with a bullhorn with the Black Lives Matter thing written on it. And, yeah, I'll turn the... Let's see, what is over here? Okay, so fuck Trump. We have I sang, bag sack. We have ACAB. I really don't know what most of this means. Black Lives Matter. What is this?
Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has
that guy appears to be wearing a thong. Okay, that's a bit wearing a thong and staring at the officers. All right, I'm just going to turn this around. We have a criminalized racism reparations now sign. Definitely could stand to have what I just saw out of my head. We'll see. Hopefully it'll happen after viewing some of the rest of what we got going on here. All right. We have an audience. We have a bunch of people. I can't tell what's being said. Those bullhorns really suck. I kind of want to get them a better speaker or a bullhorn. These protesters should have a Vandersteen Model 3. Maybe not, no, that's kind of a home speaker. You don't need phase coherency out here. Maybe like a set of EAW speakers with a little generator. I actually have it. They need a set of EAW speakers. I can't hear a shit. And I actually want to hear what's going on, but it's really hard to tell. I think I'm just being ridiculous about audio quality. So you have Revolution Now written on the ground. Turn around over here. Saw something else written. Let's see if we can get the rest of the text. Here it says abolish capitalism, and I think that's a hammer and sickle. Is that a hammer and sickle? I'm turning around, just making sure I'm not getting in the way of people in traffic. Okay, here we go. Yep, that looks like the symbol for communism there. Yep, nothing. That's pretty much what I would expect. Blasio would be proud. We have some police over here. By the way, for those who aren't aware, the people in the blue shirts are the normal cops. The people in the white shirts, I think, are the supervisors. So they got bikes on each side that are blocking off the road. So this section of the road is, now I think I understand what the bikes are for. So the bikes are to block off the road so that cars can't drive through here. Yeah, because there's usually cars driving through here. By the way, this is another reason that I really suggest very much that people use an electric bicycle in order to get through the city rather than a car. Because what I say is, if you have an electric bike, you can get around a lot of the stuff that causes senseless traffic. You can't really do that on in a car. But like, see, I can easily just wheel around this stuff, and it makes life a lot easier. And I can go pretty much as fast as the cars can on the road until you get to the highway. I'm going to try to see if I can hear what she's saying. I'm going to try to stop talking and listen, see if I... She's saying what it costs to put people in jail.
Per year, $33,000 a month.
I think she's saying how much it costs to put people in jail. She said it was like $400,000 a year, but I thought it was closer to $38,000 a year. Maybe that's in New York. For some reason, I thought it was $38,000 a year to put someone in prison. Either way, I get the point. There's an obscene amount of money that gets put in putting people in prison. But I really thought that, I think the numbers there may not be correct, because I think in certain parts of Europe, I forget if it was Norway, Denmark, or Sweden, I forget. One of them has one of those progressive prison systems. It's like $90,000 a year, whereas here it's $38,000 a year, and the reason it's so cheap here is because people think it's obscene to spend that much on people who are prisoners. Yet they have a lower recidivism rate, so there's that. All right, we got the dancing over there. Let's see what we got over here. I get her point, though. I really do. You know, like, again, like, I think she may be a little off in the number. Maybe I'm missing something through the translation with that, but yeah, like, you know, 38. When you think about putting people in jail, you really are saying spend your tax dollars on it. It's a lot of fucking money. All right, so here I think is the. I don't know. You guys ever go to Disney World and like walk around the Magic Kingdom or Epcot and you got all these little villages? That's kind of what I feel like right now. Like, this is the main street of the Magic Kingdom, and then here is like one of the little villages. So I'm kind of curious if I can walk my bike through here. What the fuck? Can't be worse than where I used to live anyway. So I'm gonna take a look at this. I just want to see what is going on in this. So this is okay. So this is interesting. So this, I really not mean to do any disrespect here when I say that it's kind of like Magic Kingdom, but like that's just the first feeling you get. You have all these little things that you can look at around here and read. So justice for Brianna Taylor. This is a really fucked up one, by the way. This is one of the things that I've heard that aggravates some people is that all the cases get pushed together. And like, you know, there is a serious difference between, let's say, the case of like Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, and Brianna Taylor. There is real difference in these cases, and some of them it's really difficult to not have universal support for. I mean, it's really difficult to see why there wouldn't be universal support for the aggravation. Like, when you see what happened to Brianna Taylor, it is really fucked up. It's been over 3 months since Brianna Taylor was murdered by the police and her killers have not been arrested. I demand that John Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove are fired immediately and charged with manslaughter and negligence. I demand that a special prosecutor be appointed to investigate the Louisville Police Department immediately. I demand that a special session be convened to ban no-knock warrants. I demand justice for Brianna Taylor. See, like that, like I can get around that message. I really can. You know, like, again, the hammer and sickle on the street for communism, not really, but like this, I can get behind that message. You know, that's you got to abolish the police on the ground. It's, you know, one of those things when people say defund the police just means mildly decrease their budget. You got to understand that a lot of the people saying defund the police really wouldn't mind that occurring as well, and it's one of those kind of mixed messages there. Nina Pop was murdered is written there. Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting place. Definitely an interesting place. It really does have a Magic Kingdom vibe to it, I gotta say. You know, I wouldn't pay $1,000 or $2,000 a night for a hotel to be within walking distance of here, but it does definitely have a Magic Kingdom kind of vibe to it. Abolish the police is written in the subway. The Brooklyn Bridge City Hall subway stop has been covered up by what it looks like police barricades and also some bicycles. I'm not sure if the barricades are put up by the police or the protesters, because those are police barricades. I don't know if, because it looks like they're just locking their bikes to, it looks like what they're doing is they're locking their bicycles to the barricade that may have already been put there by protesters, so it's really hard to tell which of that is. Either way, I'm pretty sure there's going to be less traffic. Yeah. So make of this what you will. Make of this what you will. I'm going to see if the bike path home is actually rideable or not. We're going to see if the bike path is browsable. I don't know. It's like a bunch of people camping out. It's kind of... So back there was one person screaming at the cop, "Are any of you even educated, or any of you blah, blah, blah." And all the cops are just kind of standing there and not saying anything. Like they're standing by with their hands at their hips, pretty much just getting yelled at. And they're, I don't know, I don't got the restraint to do that job. There's a reason I'm not a cop. There's a reason that I do what I do. Like I fix motherboards, you know. Like I've had people come into my store and just yell and scream and complain and like refuse, and that they're not even customers. They're just people that didn't like something, and like I don't have the, I don't know, I don't have the patience or the restraint. So that's it. That's pretty much yeah. That is what you got. There's some messages there that I'm really behind. Like, again, the whole Brianna Taylor case, like, I'm behind everything on that sign. There's really nothing there that I'm against. The screaming at the cops part, I don't really see how that's actually going to get anything done. Like, the one individual that is screaming at the cops, I don't see how that is actually going to accomplish something. It would be one thing if the cops were doing something. I mean, I guess the purpose is to demoralize them, but I think it could have the opposite effect. I think it could have the opposite effect in that it's going to get the cops to say, you know what, screw that, I'm not leaving. You want me to quit? I'm not quitting. I'll stay here all day. I'll stay here if they stop paying me. You get that us versus them mentality going. And the hammer and sickle on the ground, like again, like, you know, I'm not really, not feeling it, not feeling that part, but I think this actually goes back to what I said a few weeks ago, which is that a lot of these really seem to lack a mission statement, you know, because at first I saw, okay, you know, we're burning down the police station, and like, fine, if that's in the same area around with the Philando Castillo thing and the George Floyd thing, like, you know, my brain can process that. Then we're like destroying Target, and I figure, okay, so now we've kind of crossfaded from a protest about racial justice and police brutality to inequity in society, economic inequality, all that run amok. Like, I can respect that. I'm not saying that I'm for burning the Target. I don't even know if I should respect that as the thing I should say. I can understand it. You know, I can understand it, even if I'm not going to be burning down the Target. I'm not going to be there looting the Target, but I get where they're coming from. You know, like if you're, you know, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, blah, blah, blah. You know, you take it out on a multi-billion-dollar corporation. That's like fine, you know. Granted, they also sell, you know, other shit that you could use in your house, but whatever. But then when I saw in my own neighborhood that there was that right down the block from me, there was a little family-owned Korean restaurant that had the windows destroyed twice. Had a sign there saying, "We're closed. Like, we're not reopening. We're already done for. Just please, or beg you, stop breaking the windows." People kept breaking it. And right across the street, there was a Starbucks. And the Starbucks was in perfect condition. Nothing wrong with it. Like the clear-cut symbol of capitalism, if there was any, is a fucking... And everything wrong with the, I don't know, like gentrification and capitalism and all that, the fucking Starbucks. And the Starbucks was completely untouched. All the windows were fine. And one of the things I said is that the protests seem to lack a mission statement. Something that binds it together. Because if you were crossfading from racial justice to economic inequality, in distaste with with how the bailout money went, distaste with how the rich keep getting richer and blah blah blah. I'm not saying you take it out in the place I buy toothpaste, but fine. But I can understand it. But then when I see that the Korean barbecue is like destroyed and the Starbucks is untouched and I see a hammer and sickle, it's like, come on. Yeah. But this is where, like, you have certain elements in that there that, like, virtually everybody can get behind. Like, most people, I think, can get behind what they're talking about with the Brianna Taylor thing. Because most people, they see themselves as that person. Some dude breaks into my house, no alert, doesn't tell me who they are, plain clothes, with a gun. Like, shit, if I had a gun, I'd grab it and try to shoot back, too. You know, the average person who's not a criminal, who's not trying to do anything wrong, can just, like, look at that and go, fuck! Regardless of race, fuck! That could have been me! God damn it! That's bullshit! It's like, but then, it morphs into the person with the thong screaming at the police, and who are just standing there, and the hammer and the sickle on the ground, and it's like, I don't know. What the fuck am I supposed to say? I can't get right to repair passed in a blue state. I can't get right to repair to even be considered to be voted on. In Massachusetts, so close to Cambridge. You can just walk down the street and see the Center for Marxist Education right there, where they have a communist bookstore. What the fuck do I know about activism that works? I can't even get Google effing AdWords to take my money. I can't get Google AdWords to take my money. That's how bad of an activist I am. So maybe that's what I should be doing. Maybe I should have a hammer and sickle on the ground in front of the Apple store, in front of the Google building on 9th Avenue. Maybe that's how you get shit done. I don't know. Maybe that's how you get shit done. But here's the thing that's going to happen when you go to the news. I can tell you what. Depending on which channel you turn on one channel, you're going to see the picture of the signs protesting what happened to Brianna Taylor and of nice messages. And when you turn on another channel, what you're going to see is someone that you could argue looks a little on the deranged side, screaming at police officers for no good reason, and people sleeping on the street, and tents put up. So it's one of those things where, like, this is why I really kind of like going there and seeing for myself what's going on, because you know, if you turn on Fox or CNN, you know there's going to be a totally different fucking idea as to what it is that's actually going on down there. Like, what is really going on down there? You don't get to know unless you go for yourself. Because it's not even really about, someone lying. It's about, what do you choose to focus on? Because what you choose to focus on is what's going to tell me what's going on. What you choose to focus on is key. This is one bumpy effing road, man. Jeez. Yeah, what people choose to focus on is really what gives you an idea where their thoughts are. I'm kind of curious to see how Seattle handles it versus how New York handles it. All right, it's about time for me to get going home, so hopefully you got something out of all that. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff in this video to make everybody on every single side of every single issue quite angry. Look forward to waking up to your aggravated comments, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope that you learned something.